What's going on, everybody? This your boy Blackout Jones with Just Shooting the Sports. As you can see by the title, I'm going to talk about the Legend Bey situation that's gotten even more wild when you read about it. And I'm also going to talk about how Notre Dame is here, crying and whining, and you're mad at the CFP, you're mad at the ACC, hell, you're mad at you got a memorandum of understanding out here with the CFP, but you're still mad at the CFP for whatever reason. But regardless of all that, so I'm going to talk about Legend Bey first. So news coming out with Legend Bey is basically saying that what we've been hearing allegedly is not true, and that Legend Bey actually wanted to sign with Tennessee. He actually spoke to Tennessee. Let me make sure. Let me take a look and see here, because sources told 247 Sports Wednesday evening that Bey was unhappy with the decision and would seek a path to be released from Tennessee and end up at Ohio State. Well, on that note, Legend Bey's mother actually went to Knoxville the weekend before signing day to meet with the Tennessee coaches by herself to pick up the paperwork. Whether he or his mom signed it on signing day remains up in the air. Okay, so here's the updated situation, which is funny to me. So basically, he, who was Legend Bey, reached out to Tennessee on signing day and wanted back in with the Vols, said Austin Price. Said Tennessee was expecting him to go to Ohio State to start that day. Obviously, they would love to have him, so they take him. He's on the phone when he signs the scholarship papers. Josh Heupel comes in there and meets with the media like we all saw. Shortly after that, I think Austin Price said that he received a text from Legend Bey and said he would do the interview, and then he calls me. They're on the phone. I mean, it doesn't sound like he's being held hostage. So the only thing Austin Price feels like about this situation, he feels like he stated, that there's what we like to call a buyer's remorse. And, with him being, he ain't really know what he really wanted to do. Understand he was committed to us back in June, July, flipped to Ohio State in November, came back on early national signing day and flipped back to the Vols. But what we heard before was that, he was forced to sign it. The mom allegedly forged her signature on there. But now that we see, that was all a farce. Now, as far as his accounts being blocked or whatnot, I don't know if that's true or not at this point. But at this point, like we stated before, man, let that man go where he need to go. Pretty simple. If the Tennessee coaches, I feel like they should just do right by the young man and let him go to Ohio State. If that's where he wants to be, fine. And if it works out, fine. If it doesn't work out, I'm pretty sure we may welcome him back with open arms. But right now, all this wishy-washy going back and forth, I understand he is a kid. I understand he's a high school kid, a high school football player. But at some point, you have to make a decision on where you need to go, whether it's here at Tennessee or whether it's at Ohio State. But at the end of the day, you have to make that decision, and you got 2 weeks to do so, because he turns 18 and January 2nd is the transfer portal. Now, I did hear this. Before he can even enter in the transfer portal, he has to actually start classes. And the thing about it is, the classes at Tennessee don't start until after the transfer portal is over with. So that's another situation. But at the end of the day, let that man go up north. Let him be in Columbus. If that's where he want to be, fine. We got a lot of talent coming in, and a lot of talent that want to be a Tennessee Vol, and that's all we need to worry about. Now, in regards to the Fighting Irish, the Rudy is the new Florida State. I will say this, General Vol, at least with Florida State, at least they went undefeated and they won their conference championship. I can see why they're crying and whining. But these guys here from South Bend, 10-2, take care of your business. Take care of your business. Those independent days that we all grew up seeing when you was an independent, and you've been an independent until all your other sports went to the ACC, those days are over. Those days are over, or are they? According to the Notre Dame AD, who I'm going to talk about later, because he seems a little pissed off that the ACC didn't have their back. Why should they? You're not part of the ACC. Now, if it was basketball, that would be fine. They'll have your back. Why? Because you are in the ACC as far as basketball and other sports. But as a football team, they could care less. They're worried about their 17 other teams, and they're going to have their back. Sorry, it is what it is. In regards to the college football playoff and feeling like you got snubbed, understand something. You lost to another 10-2 Miami team. It was head-to-head. Yes, you only lost by 3 points. Okay. But head-to-head came into play. And if there's one thing that the committee has been consistent on, is head-to-head. Now, they ain't been consistent with everything else, but that's one thing that they're going to hang their hat on, is the head-to-head between two teams that played earlier in the season. Yes, if he doesn't want to be involved, then we don't want him. Hey, I mean, I agree. I totally agree, Kimberly. I truly do. And, hey, Rhonda, how you doing out there? Me and Rhonda always talking about something. But, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you can't get mad. We see this every year. And then when you got the commentators on ESPN, what do they do every year? They complain. They bitch and moan. They don't agree with this situation, or they don't agree with that situation. Kirk Herbstreit talking about, let's move it to the 16-team playoff and do what? More complaining. Because there's going to be somebody in that 16-team playoff that's not going to get in, that you're not going to agree with. So it is what it is. Now, does the committee every year set themselves up for failure? Yes, they do. They do it year in and year out. Notre Dame should have never had no business being ahead of Miami, no matter what, but they were. And then, of course, what do they always do? They back themselves in the corner, and then they got to make the decision that should have been made a while ago. Another thing I don't agree with, the whole Alabama situation. Now, you're going to count the Tennessee win for Alabama, but you're not going to count the Tennessee win for Vanderbilt. That don't make sense. Make it make sense. How's it you're going to count the win against Tennessee, but you're not going to count the win for Vanderbilt when they beat Tennessee? Because I remember last week you said, oh, well, they beat an unranked Tennessee team. Oh, well, Alabama, man, they had a great win against Tennessee. They're never consistent. Never trust them. That's right, Rhonda. You can't trust the committee. You can't, because all they're going to do is they're going to get your emotions high, get your blood pressure boiling, have spit flying out your mouth like mine is right now. And then we're going to sit here and talk about it until next year. And then what? There's going to be another team like FSU that got snubbed or whatnot. Now, if BYU would have won, there's a possibility Notre Dame and Miami probably wouldn't have got in, because they wasn't going to move Texas Tech out of the playoff. Both of them probably wouldn't have got in, and it would have been still James Madison and Tulane. But there's one team out there that messed this whole thing up also, and that's you, Virginia. The Virginia Cavaliers. You had one job. And you couldn't do the job. And then Duke, what did they do? Went 75, won the ACC, and Manny Diaz, I said it before, he was sniffing bath salt, sitting here saying, we should be playing for the ACC, we should be getting into the college football playoff. Buddy, you're 75. Hell, 75 teams don't even make it to a championship. Just so happened the ACC just down bad, and teams like Georgia Tech couldn't take care of their business, and teams like Miami couldn't take care of their business, and teams like SMU couldn't take care of their business, and evidently teams like the Virginia Cavaliers couldn't handle their business. And this is where we are, plain and simple. Now, this whole situation with Notre Dame and this memorandum of understanding where somehow, once again, they seem like they have to get treatment. This was going on during the BCS era. This was going on with the playoff, with the 14 playoff. And now here we are again. You have to get that treatment because what? You were a team that won national titles when I wasn't even born. So what? I'm here now, and all I've seen is only one, and that was with Lou Holtz. Haven't seen anything else before it. Sure as hell ain't seen nothing after it. So that is what it is. But at the same time, this memorandum of understanding, as far as what I know, is since it's allegedly, I guess supposedly it's supposed to be signed that if basically the memorandum of understanding only covers 12 or 14 team playoffs, according to the report. If the CFP is expanded from 7 to 9 at-large bids, then Notre Dame will be guaranteed a bid if it finishes number 13 or better in the final CFP rankings. Now, they stated that if it happened this year, then they would have been in, regardless. But it's the fact that you got to go through all that. First of all, you're independent. You don't want to join a conference. Second of all, you want to get these special treatments every time because of you being independent. You feel like you can just do what you want to do. That's not how it works, and it's not going to be like, and it's not going to work that way. But unfortunately, somehow the CFP, once again, they gotta pat them on their head and rub their backs and tell them it's going to be okay because hey, 2026 is around the corner, and we're going to have your back. Just all you got to do is just have this phony schedule. Where's that schedule at? Where is it? Because it's the worst thing going. Okay, next year they play Wisconsin in Lambeau Field. Wisconsin down bad. Then they play Rice. We already know what that is. Then they play a Michigan State team that's down bad. Then they're at Purdue, down bad. Then they play at North Carolina, down bad. SMU, they teeter and they iffy. You never know what type of SMU team you're going to get. As far as Syracuse is concerned, they got to get a quarterback because hell, once their quarterback went down, it was downhill from there. So they definitely need a quarterback, but I don't think that's going to help them against Notre Dame. Then of course they're going to play the Naval Academy, and then they'll play Miami. So really, the only teams on here that Miami, USC. Then they got Stanford, Boston College. That's the schedule that you like to have to prove your point that you belong. Because hell, even this year, your schedule wasn't all that either. So I don't understand what it is. I just don't understand because you got to quit crying. You got to quit crying. There's no crying in college football. There isn't. Leave it alone. And then the worst part of it is you want to tuck your tail and you don't even want to go to a bowl game because you didn't get your way. I would have loved to see a Notre Dame Texas matchup, a Notre Dame Vanderbilt matchup. But those days of bowl games are over, unfortunately. For what we grew up watching, bowl games don't even matter anymore. It's all about CFP or bust. If you don't make it to the CFP, what you got? You got opt-outs. You got teams that don't want to play in bowl games. And then the teams that I saw that didn't want to play in bowl games, hell, you're 5-7 anyway. You don't belong in the bowl anyway. So I can care less that you gave up and you didn't want to get in the bowl. Participation trophies are going everywhere. Hell, I might get one. Everybody in this chat may get one. We're all going to get participation. You get a trophy. You get a trophy. I get a trophy. Everybody gets a trophy. Why not? Why not? I know, Rhonda. This is the state that we're in right now. This is it. And Notre Dame is going to find out the hard way, unfortunately. But stop all the being and moaning. Stop all the crying. Stop getting mad at other people. Quit blaming the conference that you ain't even part of, football-wise. Talking about, this is going to, what did the AD say? This has strained our relationship. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. That's your fault. Getting to the conference, guess what? You might have a chance. Because the only one time that you did get into the conference, what was that, 2020, 21? And you got beat by Clemson. You got beat by Clemson. ACC did you a favor, and you still couldn't get the job done. So there you have it. Notre Dame is not it. Unfortunately, Marcus Freeman, go ahead and take your ball and give it to touchdown Jesus. That's it, plain and simple. Like you said, General Ball 423, Rudy is the new FSU fan base wise. Because that team, regardless of their quarterback going down, still should have had a shot. Still should have had a shot. But somebody knew Nick Saban was retiring. Wink, wink. Hey, that's all I got to say. But regardless of that, man, listen. I think the playoffs are going to be phenomenal. I know JMU is going to get blown out. I know Tulane is probably going to get blown out again. And I know my Tennessee Vols fan base, I know y'all going to hate and hear this, but who I feel like is going to win that championship, I think the Georgia Bulldogs are. Reason why I say that, because they're playing at a very high level, higher than Ohio State right now. This is the Georgia Bulldog team that when we played them early in the season, I didn't want to see. And I didn't think we would ever see because of their defense. I know, Rhonda. I know. I know. Yeah, Rudy was all sides. He was. He was all sides. You know how movies are. Hey, you got to make it look good for the cameras. But he was all sides. Yeah, but you know, Rudy. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. He was all sides. He really was. But yeah, but I think the Georgia Bulldogs, man, they have all the makings of winning another national championship. Indiana, the Hoosiers, the basketball school, which right now turning into a football school, they have every chance to win the national championship too, at least making it to the national title game with the Heisman Trophy winner at hand. You think Diego Pavia? I don't even know. Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all agree that Diego Pavia should be in New York? Because I don't. Do y'all think Diego Pavia should be in New York with the rest of, with Jeremiah Love and Mendoza, and I forgot who the fourth guy was. But do y'all think that Diego Pavia should be in New York? I don't think he should. I don't think he should. I think it's for entertainment. He's Johnny Manziel 2.0. I mean, yes, he played good, but he don't have a signature win. Even at 10-2, he didn't have a signature win at all. He beat the LSU team that was fired their coach. And then, of course, he went to Neyland Stadium. I mean, if you want to consider that a signature win because of the circumstances and how they did it, okay. And at Neyland, okay, I'll give you that. But as far as anything else, Diego Pavia wasn't a world beater whatsoever. And then one game that he did throw for 400 yards, hell, it was against Kentucky. Now, I talked to somebody before, and they were like, well, I mean, still, it's the SEC. I guess if that's what you want to consider a great win and a great statistical game that he played. But no, he shouldn't be in New York. And exactly, Kimberly, there is no way Pavia is the best player in college football. And you're right. Look out for Indiana. Indiana got some dogs, man. They have a defense that's beautiful. I love watching them play against Ohio State. Speaking of defenses, what about our defensive coordinator that Josh Heupel in Tennessee fired, old Tim Banks? How do y'all feel about that? And who do y'all feel like should be the next defensive coordinator? There's a couple of names out there. This one guy I've been hearing, Ryan Walters from Washington. I've been hearing his name a lot lately. He's the defensive coordinator at Washington for the Washington Huskies. And at one point, him and Heupel were on the same staff at Missouri when Barry Odom was the head coach. So, I mean, that's a familiar face for Heupel. I know a lot of people. I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but I was hearing that, people were talking about Mark Stoops and how would he mesh, with Heupel. And at one point, I even said, well, let's see what Mark Stoops. But I was like, that's not going to work. That's like water and oil. That will not work whatsoever. And then I thought about Will Muschamp. And with Will Muschamp, he has Georgia ties. He's been everywhere in the SEC, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say he was on the Alabama staff too, and maybe LSU. I can't recall. But would he ever come to Tennessee? Would he ever let that Georgia guard down and come to Tennessee? Would he be a great fit for the University of Tennessee for the defensive coordinator position? Will William Inge, our linebackers coach, would he be a great fit? I'm very interested to see what type of defense he would run, what he will run at the Music City Bowl. I don't know if that's something that we can really hang our hat on because of it being the Music City Bowl, and we don't know if people are going to opt out or not. I did see something where I got to look into a little bit more in regards to if anyone has opted out from Tennessee or whatnot. But can we really trust that? Heupel is always someone that's going to hire within. I know I was talking to a guy the other day. He stated that, he would like to see Rodney Garner as a defensive coordinator. The only thing about Rodney Garner is I wouldn't mind seeing him as a DC as well, but he's never really been a DC. He's always been a defensive line coach. How that transitions, I think it would transition well, but also you got to understand how much does he have left in the tank, and how much of the loyalty does he have for the University of Tennessee to be in that position, knowing that there's other things going on behind the scenes with him in regards to going back home. So that has a lot to play in that factor as well in regards if he would be a good fit as a DC. I wouldn't mind it, but I just don't think he has enough in the tank to, to last, because if that's the case, we're going to be looking for another defensive coordinator within a year or two, and that's something that we don't want to get into at that point. Sorry, but Banks needed to go. Yes, he did. Banks definitely needed to go. General Vols, I've heard Walter is top candidate. He took Illinois to the top defense in the nation. Okay. I was I definitely need to really look into Ryan Walters and really, kind of sink my teeth into, his type of defense that he likes to run. In regards to Banks, Kimberly, I'll say this much. I think his philosophy was good, was decent. I think it's the play calling in that scheme that he used. Remember last year we had dogs up there. We were deep. Also, you got to understand we were senior led at that time. We had monsters up front. So of course, that defense propelled like it was supposed to, because each year after the 2021 season, you notice that the defense, total defense, the rankings kept getting better and better and better. So I can see that from what we had. And then once we lost that, you see how it looked in regards to what we were missing up front and definitely on the back end. Jamal McCoy being out didn't help. Ricky Gibson being out didn't help. I went to that game where he got hurt. Jacoby Thomas. A lot of people don't really be talking about Jacoby Thomas during the season. They only talked about Ricky Gibson and Jamal McCoy. But Jacoby Thomas, he was our heavy hitter. He was our ball hawk. He wanted to take your head off. And when he went to Miami, we didn't realize it then, but we sure as hell realize it now. That was a tremendous loss for that Tennessee secondary. It really was, because he was our headhunter. He really was. And then of course, Boo Carter, hell, he wasn't locked in whatsoever. Shit, he was switched. I mean, what I want to say, he checked out in the offseason. And when I went to the Syracuse game, I looked at him and I looked at him only because I wanted to see what his mannerism looked like. I wanted to see how he looked like with his other teammates when he may have made a play, and when they congratulate him, did he high five back? I watched him that game, and I watched him other games as well. And the body language was the body language. The only time, and I said this before on other videos, the only time that I saw Boo Carter excited was when he made that hit against Mississippi State, and when Caleb Beasley, his homeboy from Bradley Central, because they came in together from Bradley Central, got that pick six and took it to the house. That was it. That's the only time I saw him excited. And maybe the one punt return that he did when he was out of bounds, but he still tried to jump over the defender to get into the end zone. That was it. But anything before that or after that, when teammates came up to him to high five him, hey, good game, no reaction whatsoever. And he always stood by himself somewhere. So I already knew he checked out. It was a done deal. It was just a matter of when you're going into the transfer portal. That's it. And that's the reason why, the whole Legend Bey situation is like, why do we need to continue to go through this as a Tennessee fan base, as a Tennessee program? We already dealt with this with Nico, and this was just this year with Nico and with Boo. We don't need another one of these. Hey, man, if you don't want to be here, keep it moving. That's it. Said, I believe Ryan Walters is in his early 40s. So, yes, he still has years left. That's good. And I think that will be a great fit for Josh Heupel. And I think with them knowing each other and knowing their tendencies, I think that will be a great fit. Hopefully that'll be a home run hire as well. But the philosophy, Tim Banks, it was cool, but I want to see something different. That four-man front that he used all the time, it was only a matter of time before it wore thin. And it did, because if you can't get back there to the quarterback, shit, secondary ain't going to save you. And then, coaching malpractice too with Tim Banks. You leave Ty Redmond out there on the island against Georgia. No safety help, no nothing. Just just leave him out there. Just, hey, son, just, try by fire. Yeah, well, he sure as hell got lit up. And then, of course, the Alabama game, which that from the turnover, from the pick six to the two 90-plus yard drives, the 3rd and 2 hurts me. That 3rd and 2, that was just stupid. You dropping your linebackers on a 3rd and 2? A 3rd and 2, not a 3rd and 10, not a 3rd and 15, a 3rd and 2. And then when you had Jermaine Bernard, when you had him dead to rights, hell, you can't even wrap up. And that was another issue we had. Our guys could not wrap up to save their lives. We sit here and we talk about coaching, right? We sit here and talk about, hell, Tim Banks coaches the safeties or whatnot. Why are you not teaching these guys how to wrap up? These guys learn how to wrap up at Pop Warner. These guys learn how to wrap up 7th, 8th grade. These guys learn how to wrap up in high school. So I'm trying to figure out when you get to college, what's the issue? I know the speed is different. The game is different. But damn, the fundamentals should still be there. That's just like these safeties and these DBs out here. You don't have your head on a swivel. You know how many DBs can have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 interceptions out here if you just turn around? Because the quarterback can't even, because he's throwing short. It's there. It's there for you. When did this begin? When did these DBs start just blind and then be mad when you get the flag thrown on you? What'd I do? Buddy, you ain't even playing the ball. I don't get it. And it's so bad it has filtered into the NFL. These DBs are not coaching these boys to turn their heads around. Something's wrong. There's a disconnect somewhere. There's a disconnect. There's so many passes that could have been deflected, could have been picked off, all those things. But they don't have the intuition to keep their head on the swivel. And that's a problem. And it's not just Tennessee. There's other teams out here in college that do the same thing. And I'll just be sitting here like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But anyway, yeah. But yeah, Tim Banks, his play calling was bad, especially against teams like Georgia, Ohio State, the Alabamas. Even though we won, 2 games in the hyper era against Bama, still there were inconsistencies in his play calling. You know what I'm saying? There was not enough aggressiveness coming from him. When we played Vanderbilt, 165 yards, 20 carries, 1 touchdown from Diego Pavia, and you're not putting a spy on him. I don't care how slow T-Lander is. Put somebody on him. Make Pavia think about it. You ain't do none of that. Coaching malpractice. Coaching malpractice. And what does coaching malpractice get you? It gets you out the door. Because originally, I don't know, y'all probably heard this, he was supposed to be up for the Toledo job. That was like softening the blow. We hope he gets offered, so I ain't got to take it upon myself and tell the world, man, we had to let you go. But I truly believe he didn't get that job, and Josh Heupel had no choice but to go ahead and give him his walking papers. Unfortunately. Now, is there a spot for him with his old coach, James Franklin? Who knows? It might be. I know right now they got Brent Fryer. He got him back for the DC position, so he may have a shot, playing with, coaching with James Franklin. So we just have to see what happens after that. But right now, he's no longer here. We're here. Tennessee fan base is here. The Tennessee Volunteers program is here. And all we need to worry about who's the next guy in line. And if I keep hearing about this Ryan Walters guy and how good he is and what he has done, then, buddy, bring him on the Rocky Top. Bring him on. And we will welcome you with open arms. Trust me. We love hard around here. We truly do as a fan base. And I know we get we get talked about and how rowdy and rambunctious we are and how we get to it. We just want to win. We just want to see the best product on the field that gives us a chance to not only win games, compete for championships, and win championships. That's all we want. We haven't last competed for a championship since 2007. We haven't won a national championship since 98. Plain and simple. We're hungry for it. And what's wrong with us being the way we are sometimes when we get a little frustrated and we get a little hostile? What's wrong with that? Every fan base is like that. Shit, Alabama wanted Kalen DeBoer's head off his shoulders when he lost to Florida State. Now look at him. They love him. Oh, the black hoodie guy. Yeah, he wears the black hoodie, man. We're going to win. They love him now. But when he messes up, they'll be back on his head again. Trust me. Trust me. That's the fan base for you. And this Tennessee fan base, we will love hard. We will treat you like family. As long as you take care of business and as long as you play for that power, I always messed it up, for that power team right there. Always. There's guys that haven't played with us in years. Anytime we see them, we give them love. That's just what we do. That's just us. Plain and simple. That's just us. And for others that, make fun of us and crack jokes, that's fine. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be a troll. Nothing wrong with that. Because I do the same thing. Understand? I do the same thing. Hell, I think I'm worse at it. I'm a menace when it comes to that. Trust me when I tell you. But besides Ryan Walters, is there anybody else that you can see taking over the helms for the defensive coordinator position? Because right now it looks like by everyone that I'm seeing and hearing it, Ryan Walters is the guy. There was a guy. What about the guy in Indiana? Do you think he's loyal to Signetti enough to where he won't leave? I don't think he would. Him and Signetti are like this. You know what I'm saying? They're like this. So, he was with Signetti, how he say his name. He was with him at James Madison as well. So they got a great defense. I think they're like number 3 as far as total defense in the nation or whatnot. But yeah, man, this Notre Dame situation, cry me a river. You just got to play better and you got to win your games and take care of business. What did my man say? You know what? Everybody needs to be a Clark Lee. Everybody needs to be a Clark Lee. What did he say? And even though he's Vandy, but he said something that made so much sense. He basically said that in regards to not making it to the CFP, that's no one's fault except our own. We had opportunities and we didn't do enough. We are not victims in this process. Our ownership is in coming up short. There was no way we were going to end this story early. I get a chance to spend 23 days with this team, and we're going to soak up every one of those days. And they're not opting out of their bowl game. Class act. Marcus Freeman, you should learn a little bit from that guy. Notre Dame administration, you should learn a little bit from the Vanderbilt administration. They were tending to as well, just like you. And what are they doing? They're going to a bowl. What are they doing? They're basically saying, hey, we screwed up. It was our fault. We didn't do enough. We didn't win the games that we should have won. We're not going to cry with spilled milk. Unlike you. Sometimes you can learn from other people. And quit being a baby about it. Quit being a boss baby. Quit being that guy. The dude with the handsome suit. Yeah, quit being him. You know how he is. He gets upset and pisses in his pants as well. But yay. Let me see. General Vol 423. I don't see him leaving Indiana. Yeah, he's not. He's not leaving Indiana. It's wild how, and I see why we get frustrated. It's wild how a coach can go from James Madison, an FCS school, go to Indiana, and in his first year, go to the college football playoffs. And then in his second year, not only go back to the college football playoffs, but beat Ohio State and win the Big Ten title. I see why we frustrated. I see why we could be frustrated. Because it's like, why can't we have that? Why can't we compete for those championships? Look at Brian Kelly. I've talked about this before. In his first year, and we whooped LSU convincingly. Unfortunately, in their division, when we were divisions, their division was trash. And that's how they got to the SEC championship game. But he got there. Even though he got whooped out, he got mollywopped. But he got there. He had a chance. He had a shot. We just need to stop finding ways to lose and find more ways to win and not make mistakes that for whatever reason we are accustomed to making. That has to stop. It just truly has to stop. And then on top of that, let's say Joey Aguilar doesn't come back. Do you trust a George McIntyre? Do you trust a Faison Brandon? Or do we need to go in the portal and once again get another veteran? It seems like that's all we've been doing. Really, the only person that we truly had that started that was a Tennessee commit from the jump was Nico. Everybody else, from Hendon Hooker to Joe Milton to Joey Aguilar, have been rentals. Now, Hendon was a great rental. And I think he was the last of our quarterbacks to actually start 2 years in a row. Even though he didn't start the Pittsburgh game, but he finished it. That's why I still give him that 2 years in a row. If guys have an NFL draft grade, they will opt out. Of course. Why wouldn't you? That would be dumb. So you tell me I'm going in the first round or at least early second, hell, I'm opting out too. Hey, I'm opting out too. And you have some guys that maybe want to come another year. I wish Jamar McCoy come back, but we know good and well he's going first round. I would be shocked if Jamar McCoy came in the media and said, hey, I got unfinished business. Man, I'll flat out fall out. I'm like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. But yeah, I agree with you, MG Way. I agree with you. If guys have an NFL draft grade, they will opt out. No question, and I don't blame you. If Chris Brazzell wants to opt out, hey, I'm not going to be mad at you. I get it. You had a phenomenal year. You 1,000 yards receiving, 9 touchdowns. Why not? 6'3", 6'4", frame. NFL coaches and ownership and GMs, they love to get a guy like you. So I get it. Arian Carter, I don't know if he's another one that may have opted out. I thought I saw something. If he did, I mean, I could be wrong on that. Yeah, I could be wrong on that. But I know Chris Brazzell for sure. If you need to opt out, man, go ahead, man. Be great. You've done what you're supposed to do your 2 years here at Tennessee. Had no qualms about that because at the end of the day, we got dogs coming in, and we got dogs that are still going to be here for next year. So our wide receiver group is deep in numbers and in talent. Definitely with the number one wide receiver coming in. So looking forward to that. But yeah, man, this is going to be these are interesting times. These are interesting times in college football. It's no longer the football that we grew up in love, man. This is a business now. It's a business. And, and another thing about that business, when fans get frustrated and things of that nature, because why? Because we are investors. Whether you want to believe it or not, we as a fan base are investors. We invest in the Tennessee program. We invest into the players because of the NIL. There's an investment for us as well. And sometimes our fan base will, go a little overboard sometimes, but this is a business. The loyalty factor is out the window. The brand is the brand, but money is involved now. And it's in the open for everyone to see. So that's the only thing. I just hope it don't get to a point where if we ended up getting like a CBA, having a collective bargaining agreement in college football, then yeah, you can kiss everything goodbye after that. You truly can. At one point, we used to say, I don't know if everybody said this, but I know we used to say, man, I think players need to get paid too because of these coaches making all this money on their backs and on their blood, sweat, and tears. Now that these players are getting paid, shit, buddy, you need to play. You need to play. We need you to get in there. We need you to do something. What'd you say, Rhonda? Not us. Just a little passionate about our balls. I know, right? Just a little bit. Just a tad. Just a tad. But I love it. I love Bleeding Orange, bro. I love it. I love it, man. I've been a Tennessee fan for what? Forever. forever. I'm end up showing my age if I say what I say. Put it like this: I've been a Tennessee fan for, golly, 35, 30. No, take that back. Oh hell no, 43 years. Yeah, 43 years. I've been a Vols fan, so I've seen the ups, I've seen the downs, I've seen the 0-6 starts, I've seen the national championships, I've seen the SEC titles, I've seen 0-8 in the conference. I've seen it all. I've seen the Tony Robinsons. I've seen it all. Goodness gracious, the Willie Gaults, the Reggie Whites, the Bartholomews. Yeah, man, what's my man name? Oh, the Daryl Dickies of the world. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've seen it all. And what a time it has been and will continue to be. Truly, I'm a true Vols fan. So, a little fun fact note, and I hope y'all don't hate me for this. I hope y'all don't. A couple years ago, I don't know if I told this story or not. A couple years ago, it was the ACC championship game, and game day was here. Cold as hell out there too. And I had a sign that I made, and at that time, we, as Tennessee, we were down bad. And I mean down bad. I want to say this probably was Butch Jones' last year. And I don't think we were winning any games, if I'm not mistaken. And I made a sign that said, I am truly a Tennessee Vols fan, but this is the closest I'm going to get to a championship. And ESPN took a picture of that. And when they took that picture, and they put it on ESPN, and it ended up getting on Twitter. When I tell you, I was getting bombarded with so much hate from other Tennessee fans. I had a lady get in my DM and said, "What are you doing? You know ESPN doesn't like us. What are you doing?" I had a couple people say, "I'm a plant. I work for ESPN. Oh, he's not a true Vols fan. Oh, they just put him there." I had all those things come at me. I had 30 minutes of just tomatoes, just hit me all across the face, man. Not knowing I do bleed orange. I do love Tennessee and everything that comes with it. But at the same time, I had to be truthful. That's what it was at the time. Those were the times that we were dealing with. And yeah, ESPN has a thing against us. Ever since that bullshit elevator scene many years ago, ever since Chris Fowler wanted to call us trailer park trash, ever since when we did win the national championship, we had a lot of things to say to Chris Fowler and a whole plethora of other things. But that day, oh yeah, I caught hell from the Tennessee fan base. I really did. Oh, it was bad. Oh, it was bad. But that's a fun fact. Yeah, so if anybody remembers that guy, that was me. That was this guy. Shit, I don't even think I had a poster anymore. Hell, I think I threw that away after a while. But yeah, it was a wild ride. Those 2-3 days after game day, especially them first 24 hours. But anyway, man, that's really all I got to say right now. I think I'm gonna put a pin in it. I definitely, once again, I have enjoyed every last one of y'all joining me for this live. I especially enjoyed the first time that I went live during early National Signing Day. Man, I still think about that, how great that was, how many, memories were brought up, and talking about, players that played on the University of Tennessee, and, how some recruits wanted to come but didn't come because of certain situations. And then give a special thanks to Rhonda. Man, she's been with me since day one. Definitely has supported me each and every day since she got on my channel. I want to give a shout out to General Vol 423. I want to give a shout out to Kimberly. I also want to give a shout out to MG Way for joining this live. Hey man, Y'all don't understand how much this means to me. I appreciate y'all so much. I truly do. This is fun. This is fun, man. I don't do this for, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't do this for no views. I don't do this for no monetization. I do this because I love this. Truly love this. Because I always wanted to do this. I always wanted to talk to the people. Because hell, I talk to my dad and I talk to my cousins and friends all the time. I said, shit, why not talk to everybody else? Let's hear everybody else's ideas and what they think about, the Tennessee Vols football program or hell, other sports of some sort. So hell, just talk about everyday life. Shit, I'm a regular person just like everybody else. But you know what? We not regular. We special. All of us are special in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? You got your celebrities out here, but hell, they got issues. They got big time issues. I don't want that. I don't want that life. This is the life right here I want. This is the life that I love right here. Speaking to the masses, speaking to the people just like me that enjoy sports, that enjoys college football, that enjoys Tennessee Volunteers, that just enjoy life. You know what I mean? Point blank, period. Thanks for your show tonight. Great job. Go Vols always. Sorry I have to go. Hey, all right, Rhonda, I'll see you later. Thank you for chiming in. Hang in there, Blackout Jones. We are going to get those numbers up as good as any Vols show. Thank you very much, Kimberly. I try, I just here. I just like to talk my talk, sometimes talk my S every now and then. But I enjoy this. This is what I look forward to. I was looking forward to going live today. I'm going to look forward to dropping other videos, dropping other content, hopefully tomorrow. Because I don't know when I want to talk about the Music City Bowl right now. I think I want to wait and see if anyone is going to opt out. And then I'm probably going to, at that time, drop a video in regards to the Music City Bowl. I thought about going to the Music City Bowl, but after I looked at some prices to get there, I was like, nah, I'm not going to make it. And then I've been to a Music City Bowl. I went when Boston College and Vanderbilt played. And when I tell you it was cold as heck, it was cold as heck. And I'm not trying to sit in nosebleed because, hell, that was even worse. For the people that are going to that game, I will suggest this. Sit on the other side where you can see the Batman building because that's where the sun is going to shine the most, to be honest with you. That's how it was when I went many years ago, if you want to get warmed up. But besides that, yeah, I'm not going. I'll watch it from the friendly confines of the man cave here. But anyway, I want to thank everyone that was on here. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your night. I'm going to go ahead and probably get something to eat because I'm hungry. And, I think my wife down there cooking, so I'm going to see what she has in the pot. You know what I mean? But anyway, hey, I love everybody, man. Y'all take care of yourselves, and we should do this again soon. Until next time, you know who I am, Blackout Jones, and you know where we are, just shooting the sports. And anytime I'll talk about that power T and that one beside me, you already know what it is. Go Big Orange and go damn Vols. Take care.